Oh, yeah, you were, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I've started the stream. It says excellent connection. I don't actually see... Oh, and we're live.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone.
And we got...
Oh, go ahead.
Jetzt gratis Glückslos
What the fuck?
So this is... Your stream has started and my check screen acts up. Isn't that great?
Your check screen showed you a YouTube ad?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, we're live. Why is there German? Why is there German? Because I invited them. Quel dommage.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Although
And
this week
we have Mom and Egan already here, so we have 2 Germans.
good because we're down 1 German.
Yeah.
For anyone who tunes into the stream normally, High Fleet Malak will sadly not be joining us this week. Apparently, his biomass is weak, and he needed a 3rd injection of vaccine, and he did not do well with it. So, he's taken a powder. I actually took my father, because my father's elderly today, to get his 3rd shot, his booster shot. And I told him, I'm like, oh yeah, my German friend isn't coming to our thing because he got his 3rd shot. He's like, what a wuss! I just got my 3rd shot, I'm feeling fine.
Well, it takes more than a shot to take down your father, right?
Damn right. Dude's pushing 90.
Yeah. And tough as nails.
Tough as nails. Mom and Egan, good to see you. And Diana's here. Hi, Diana. Welcome.
Good evening.
Tom Wilson enters the chat.
Ah, Tom Wilson. Hey, buddy. Welcome. Yeah, we got on time. Look at that.
Yeah.
How amazing.
Incredible, isn't it?
And like you guys can actually hear us out there, Diana and Tom Wilson and Mom and Egan. You're not hearing like the
remix.
The remix. Yes, the remix.
Yes.
Remix.
The remix. Remix. Yeah, what a shame that Mighty Moloch is not joining tonight.
What a shame.
But-
Did you have something you wanted to share with him? Specifically?
He's well, I always enjoy his stories of Rick Priestley's basement.
Ooh,
I'm
take a
sorry,
drink.
Marco.
Take a drink.
Sorry.
Marco mentioned being in Rick Priestley's basement. Drink.
Oh yeah, drink.
What do I do?
Yes.
What do I mention that is our drink thing? If we're going to shit on Marco, we have to shit on ourselves too.
Good question. Probably. Oh, look, the storyboard guy is there. Probably.
Oh! Hey, buddy. Morning.
Every time I mention Stargrave or Frostgrave, it's
Yes.
probably
I was
catchphrase.
gonna say yours is, have I told you about this game called Frostgrave? Oh, Tactical D-Bag's here too. Will K. I think that's Tactical D-Bag from Instagram, who is very active on the Tyranid stuff. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
Peter Hampson's
Cool.
here. Hello, Peter. We are definitely live. On time. How about that? Like to keep you guys on your toes. Guys and gals, friends of all ages, on your toes. Also, oh shit. I wasn't planning on mentioning this, but happy Trans Awareness Week. This week is Trans Awareness
Oh,
Week.
yeah.
If you're not that aware about trans stuff, maybe you should be, because there's a lot of really talented trans artists in the community. And that kind of leads us into one of the things I wanted to talk about, which is not being a dick to trans people in the community and combating hate in the Warhammer community. So we're going to be talking about that later, because in case you missed it, Games Workshop put up a juicy little, I don't know what juicy. They put up a thing today in the vein of Warhammer for Everyone. I don't know if you remember Warhammer for Everyone. It has been 1.5 years since it came out. But in case you remember Warhammer for Everyone, something like that. But a new statement. So we're going to go over that a bit later once I figure out my camera. But first, as this is Nidvember, and we are... Oh god, this light... I don't care. I get like a flickering thing. Bar is going up my screen. as we're in Nidvember, and sometimes we leave that until too late in the stream, maybe we should start with the Nidvember roundup because
Yeah.
Flynn is so good. Oh, apparently today is International Men's Day.
Yeah.
Wow, we're celebrating that by being a bunch of men.
So they.
Also, Bargace has joined us in the chat, and Bargace has noted that the thing that Games Workshop put up recently is could be reactionary because there was some weird shit going on in a Spanish tournament lately. If you don't follow our good friend Wilbur Waitley on Instagram, or I don't know if he goes on and off Twitter, but he documented it. Oh, I think he's back on Twitter because he posted about this on Twitter where there's some jerkface at a Spanish tournament who was wearing like this really weird design that was basically taking a bunch of swastikas and like cutting pieces off of them and being like, oh no, they're not swastikas. And they were clearly swastikas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit of an ass. Yeah, so he shared that because he's all up in the Spanish stuff. And I guess Bargace is saying that the statement from Games Workshop could be a reaction to that. Because that came up. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Flynn,
It's the Nidvember.
got anything cool for us?
Maybe.
I have actually been. Ooh, we have a watch stream box. Here we go. I'll hit it. Hit it. I've been remiss this week. I posted yesterday in my actual like posts. Ooh, nice. I like where you're starting there.
Yeah.
I posted to my feed. I guess that's what the kids are calling it these days. Just saying that I've been doing a bit of Nidvember stuff, but not as much as I want to because work has been crazy right now. For a couple of reasons. And yeah, I get the minimum hobby done that I need to be able to do my hobby streak, and then I sit on my ass, get civilized, and play video games because that's apparently how I cope. So I've been playing a lot of Super Metroid, which I never played before, which is actually pretty cool. Anyway, all that to say, Flynn, I'm glad you're on top of this Nidvember stuff, so please take it away. Thank you.
I never pronounce this one right, but it's Ramargo 1, who is actually building a Malefactor, I think it is.
I believe it's a Malefactor, yeah. Ramargo 1,
Yeah.
I follow Ramargo 1 on Instagram. Dude is amazing.
Yeah.
I have a thing where, like, I don't know. I have, like, I'm a weird person in that, like, I'll convert all these models. But when I see people, like, using a lot of, like, 3D printed Tyranids, and not like, hey, look, I made a cool new 3D printed Tyranid, but rather I just took the Games Workshop Carnifex and I got, like, a sketchy 3D file of it and printed it. That kind of puts me off. But so when I first saw Ramargo, he was using some of that stuff, and I was like, but then he went and sculpted crazy stuff like this Malefactor that he's working on. I'm like, oh, like, okay, this guy's not just ripping off 3D printed Tyranids. This guy has got some skill, and he is flexing on this thing. Look at his hand. Like, he's holding that thing in his hand, and like, I just made a dominatrix that weighed 1 kilogram, and I am a bit scared of how big this thing is. I'm amazed.
Yeah.
Did you see this, Simon, before?
Yeah. No, I did not actually. I just read Mama Negan's comment saying this thing is massive, and she asked, "Jealous, Mr. Pink?"
Apparently, I am.
Well, in what world is a Malefactor larger than a dominatrix, right?
Well, the thing is that we don't have a Malefactor, right? The last one we had is Armacast. And as
Yes.
was shown by... Wait, we've got an Exocrine? What the hell else? We don't have a Dactylus. We have a Harrispex. Oh, and those are the same size. Yeah, I don't know.
Should I go to, where is it? The
Well-
Armacross ones they've got, or?
If you want to. Yeah, so Malefactor, if you're not familiar, it's an old Tyranid creature that showed up in Warhammer Epic 40k, and it was a transport for Tyranids. I think we talked about it on a previous stream, because I thought we remembered talking about transports. So here, Flynnhammer has very helpfully pulled up a video of one from his Jammy Bastard I Own All the Tyranids on the Planet Tyranid Museum. And
from Nidvember from last year.
That's right. Flynnhammer was doing Nidvember before it was cool. And this is so this is the mini. So basically Armorcast took the little miniatures that they made for Epic 40K and they upscaled them to be for Warhammer 40K scale. So this is a 28mm scale model. It's pretty large. Like that thing is bigger than a Tyrannofex, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Tervagon.
Oh, it's much bigger.
Yeah,
It's
so
much bigger.
like the body would be about the same size as a Scythe Terrador, right? But the arms are huge. Would you say, Flynn?
Don't actually know.
Okay. Well, it's pretty
Well,
big. It's like it's on
massive.
it's on the Forge World
It
scale,
really
and it
is.
has those two weird like arms for like beaten things, which I never loved.
All right. Easy way to compare the scaling. So
Oh, there you go.
this is the old. So the white thingy is the armor cost higher specs,
The higher specs, yeah.
and then this one is a normal, a new higher specs, but this is on like a larger size base.
Yeah, but you can see that
Or-
that other model is like they're roughly the same size, but there's kind of more bulk in the other one. The
Yeah,
white one.
they're like a massive piece of resin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Malefactor would be about the same size as that Harrispex. So
Yeah.
there you go. It's roughly the size of a current Harrispex, slightly larger than. But I'm saying that like as we redefine these creatures, as Games Workshop hasn't produced a Malefactor since Epic 40K, you could make them whatever size you want. So if Ramargo is making a giant one, that could work.
Yeah. Because I think the size of the size of a lot of the models have changed because the old Hierodules and Hierophants were about the same size in Epic.
Yep,
Normally, while I just scroll through, there we go.
sure.
I know I showed the
So,
video. They're
what we're
roughly about.
talking about- Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying they're just roughly about the same size because these are the Hierodules and that's the Hierophants.
Oh, in the back
So you
there.
can see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the same size, and that's the Dominatrix. So you can see they're about the same size, and then that's all the other the Trigons.
Yeah.
order
Again,
in
this is
there.
Epic 40K scale, but everything's out the window. Like technically my Dominatrix I think is too big, not big enough. I don't know.
I think the scale wise doesn't scaling up the things doesn't really work when you have like an actual model for Warlord Titan. I think the scale is off, like from everything.
Yeah.
When I built my Dominatrix, I was like, well, in Epic, a Dominatrix is the size of a Hierophant, no, of a Hierodule.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'd just take a Hierodule and turn it into a Dominatrix so it still fits the size. But looking at it now, it feels like tiny. It's too small. And I think your Dominatrix is getting to the size this thing should be when you look at what models are produced today.
Yeah, and
What
even
you have
the size of mine, I feel like it might be a little bit too small.
Yeah, maybe. Especially when you look at that.
Yeah.
Like if you look at that, I posted that picture of the guy, that amazing guy who made the Tyrannid Dominatrix out of like
Orpheus?
wood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his one was like huge. Like it was massive.
Yeah.
Way bigger than mine.
But yeah, so this is exciting where this is going.
Yeah, and all that to say that I think that when you're creating Tyrannid creatures that don't have a current model for them, make them whatever the hell size you want. Make them the size that makes sense for you. Yeah.
So I think like the Hierophant we've got at the moment is a bit too big for what it is.
Maybe.
The Hierophant is too big.
Well, if you think
Yeah.
about if you're talking about epic scale, the Hierophant and the Harrispecs were the same size. No, sorry, the Hierophant
No.
and the
Hierodules,
Thank
it was a
you,
little bit
yes.
taller, but the Hierodules are about what, maybe 4 or 5 inches tall, whereas the Hierophant is 12 inches tall. It's just a big difference in height and everything, which I just don't like.
I just try to be flexible about it.
Yeah. talking about sizes of epic models reminded me that I found the other day in my basement my box with still sealed blisters of epic miniatures.
Nice.
Hey.
Do you have
That
any
was
of the
pretty cool.
epic Screamer Killers? They're my favorite.
I'm not sure. Well, those were all metals. I think I have just a few plastics somewhere, but I don't think there's a Screamer Killer in there.
Oh no, the Screamer Killers are metal.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
They're super
No,
cute. They're the cutest little things. I have a few of them, and they're like my pride and joy.
Yeah.
I'm
There's a few-
pretty sure that I have a bunch of arms of them in like a metal bits box.
Yeah.
I got from someone like years ago.
Yeah.
Because they were, well, those arms were the perfect material to keep bash stuff.
Oh yeah, like mandibles. They're great mandibles.
You mean these little guys here?
Yeah. Okay, let's
With the
move
big
on.
laddie one.
Oh yeah.
Well, just
Let's-
let me finish that thought
Oh, sorry.
because I just wanted to say I will probably, if all goes well, so keep your claws crossed. Welcome you for the last time today
What?
from this workplace. Because if all
Oh.
goes well, I find enough time next week, I will get my man cave into a state that I actually can move down there, and then I'm sitting in my bits box.
I picture
Literally,
you. I picture you in a child's ball pit, just filled with miniature pieces.
Yes,
Or the
they're
ones you
all
need are in arm's reach.
and they're all stored in a box. But yeah, I'm doing my best to get my man cave finished.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um.
Finally. Okay, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
that's fine. I feel like I should have done like a hobby update thing at the beginning where we all talk about what we've done this week, but this
Yeah.
this stream is nothing if not slapdash.
We only have half the efficiency because we only have half the Germans.
Yes, I mean Mama Negan is trying to fill that German quota for us, but apparently we're very inefficient and we need more Germans.
Yeah.
What?
Up next.
Okay, next.
Next.
What else is on the menu?
What else is cool?
So we've got Squig Tari, who we've got some Gene Stealer Orc hybrids.
Oh my god, I didn't see that. That's amazing.
Oh, cool.
That's so cool.
Cool.
So I just stumbled across this one during the week and was like, yep, that's going in. Because it's just like, when you do, for me with this, you could either use it as the Biophagus, I think it is. But you could also
Yeah.
use it as a mech boy for orcs as well. So you could either run it as a cultist or you could run it as an orc.
Yep. Nice.
You know what I really like about this conversion is that a striped armor plate on the crotch.
Yep. To tie it back to the cult.
Yeah, I think that makes perfectly sense. They have created a very strong image with those armor plates. I'm by far a big fan of them, and I remove them on my cult
Yeah.
wherever I can. But I think they did a wise decision to make that part of the cult's concept.
But with your cult, you use a lot of like the bald heads, which really sell the cult vibe.
I have to admit, yes, but I'm running out of them because I have used all three that I like.
Oh, I have too many bald heads. So if you can
Yeah,
wait, I can send you like.
Yeah, too bad
lot
you
of
live
them.
on the other side of the world.
Yo, we have these things called planes, and they get across the ocean pretty quick.
Oh, that's right.
Do you need them before the end of November?
Yeah, so my goal is to get my things here finished, but
Oh damn.
yeah, I don't want to steal the show from the Nidvember thing. Maybe we talk hobby later, our private hobby. So let's
Sounds good.
put cheer and glory on what Nathan has for us in store.
Yeah.
Oh my god, look at that close up on the head of the hybrid orc gene stealer.
Yeah.
So they've got a bionic eye and they've got an orc head below, but then they've taken a section out of a that's got to be a coven or a cult head. and
I
Yeah.
thought
slapped
this
it
was
on
Gene
top.
Stealer head.
No, it's
That's
too.
Gene
The
Stealer.
detail's too fine to be a Gene Stealer, I think. The Gene Stealer heads are huge.
Mm,
They're way too big.
Let's go around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. But it's cool nonetheless. Whatever head is
Yeah.
used, it's amazing work.
Yes, certainly.
That someone went that extra mile to. I'm not sure if I would have bothered, but I think that's really cool.
I feel like when I see that, I think of myself because I'll do something like that and I'll like cut out this like little intricate bit to shove in there. And realistically, it would have been faster if I just sculpted it from scratch.
That was the next thing I would have suggested if you had said I want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like scrub. Yeah.
Nice. No, I really like that one.
next one.
Next
Next.
one. Oh, wow. I didn't see this either.
You've been living under a rock.
As I said, I've had a lot of life going on this week. So I haven't
Okay.
had that much time for living on
Oh.
the internet.
I have
I
been a
have
bit.
not seen that either.
I have been a bit sneaky. I wanted to share some of the stuff on stream, so I've not been putting it in my stories as much.
Oh, there you go. So Flynn's been holding out on us.
Well, it makes this part even better.
True.
Yes.
I agree. Or like being
That's pretty
surprised.
gross.
Yeah, the coloring is really interesting. Like it looks very stylized, as if we're looking at like a cell from
Yep.
a comic or something.
Yeah. I was about to say it's at first I was not sure if it was painted or the green is sculpted or what's going on there.
Sorry, Flynn, it's
But-
really small on my screen. What's the name of the person who did this on Instagram?
Doc_Destiny.
Doc_Destiny.
Yeah, it's
Wicked.
DOK.
Nice. So we've got a Gene Stealer Patriarch here in a hallway built out of one of those shipping containers the Games Workshop
Yeah.
makes, taking down two little ratlings. I love that they use the ratlings because it exaggerates the scale.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it also gives you a clear line of sight to the Broodlord or Patriarch or whatever that is.
Yeah. And I
Oh,
like
boxes
how-
here. Sorry, I just saw that.
Oh. I just like how the big claws are extended, but the hands are like pulled backwards.
Yep.
So
Like they are the rear threat.
Yeah.
they've used just a standard model built it the standard way, and it just works for it.
Yeah. And those claws, like the way they're posed on the standard model, they do very well to kind of like fill the whole corridor that we
Yeah.
see here in the scene.
Reach down. Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Great find.
Yeah.
All right, and next up, we've got lukewarm reception.
What am I looking at?
So it's a combination of Nidvember and Kit Bashember,
Perfect. Those are our
Or-
favorite combinations.
the beast/robot prompt.
Oh, so it's like a cyber Gene Stealer crawling on the ground?
Yeah,
Interesting.
That's badass. I mean, anyone who does that kind of work with plasticard and like brass rod to make those like, oh, there's the
so
inspiration.
that's the inspiration. Yeah,
Do they mention where the inspiration image is from?
Divinity Original Sin #2.
Sounds like a computer game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
like
it's
anyone who makes those
pretty
kind of like prosthetics is like, I love that kind of work. Like brass rod and plasticard and like a little bit of green stuff. That's wicked.
it looks like
Yeah,
most
but-
of it.
Sorry.
I was
ahead.
saying most of it looks sculpted because it's got the warrior rending claw arms.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, there's-
what I like about it is or what I think is the hardest part is to sculpt that part where the rod is bent, where the brass rod is bent.
Oh, here, yeah.
Yeah,
So sculpting something onto a surface is always rather easy, but if you have that, you try to sculpt something in midair, and you can push it in all directions, and I always find it quite troublesome. Yeah, and exactly that part looks, that's pretty awesome.
nice.
Okay, up next.
Oh, did we say who that
is-
was? Sorry. Okay, so I've had this
No.
thing in the back of my mind where like I pay for podcast hosting and I never use it. Like the Xenos Alchemist podcast just sits there.
That
And
was lukewarm reception.
Luke, sorry, the last miniature was by Lukewarm Reception. I like that.
Yeah.
Is there any clever spelling there?
There's an underscore in the middle lot between war. So it's lukewarm is one word, underscore reception. So no
Perfect.
clever punny stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so what I was thinking about doing was, if I've got this like hosting service hosting podcasts anyway, maybe I just take the audio from this thing and just like dump it on there and people can listen to it if they want or not.
Yeah.
that's
What do you
quite
guys
clever.
think? Would you be down?
Yeah, go for it.
Are you currently giving me permission to put more of your likeness onto the internet?
Do you want me to write it down? I hereby give Modern Synthesis Flynnhammer's permission to put his voice on a podcast.
I'm sure that a contract drawn between our two fake identities would definitely hold up in internet court,
The internet court.
where every lawsuit is resolved in internet cookies. Simon's favorite treat.
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about this conversion. This just blew my freaking mind.
Oh yes, High Fleet Bargeist must be in every single one of these things that we do, because damn.
Oh, this is so good. This is our. I just love when conversions like make me flabbergasted and laugh at the same time,
Yeah.
because that beak is just freaking brilliant, man. This is so good.
So for anyone who's having trouble identifying the beak that High Fleet Bargeist used on this converted Tyranid flyer, what are those, Simon? What are we looking at there? Those two bits.
Hormigón tails.
That's right. Two Hormigont tails turned so that the little protrusions on the dorsal, is that the word for it? The back of them, point together like teeth and used as a beak. It's amazing.
So good. Beak and teeth are creepy already, but having like those 3 dots for eyes is brilliant. And yeah, the whole conversion is just too cool.
You know what it's used for the legs?
Amazing. I wanted to sit on my Gene Stealer pirate's shoulder.
You know what, Flynn? I hadn't looked at the legs. I hadn't looked at the legs until right now. But the legs themselves are the spines from the... Which one is that? Is it the Trigon Prime? Like those... or is it the Moloch? Oh, the antennas that extend from the side of its face? High Fleet Bargeist. In High Fleet Bargeist's Inimital? What's that word? Intimital? There's that... Fuck it. In his standard fashion of making skinny Tyranids, those antennas make amazing legs. And then the feet, the claws on the feet, are the little extra arms on Hormigons. How smart is that?
That is amazing.
Good morning, Brett Evans. Thank you for joining the stream.
Also, I'm not leaving it just this one for High Fleet Bargeist. We're going for the other one.
Oh shit, what else did High Fleet... Oh yes, the other winged Tyranid that Bargeist created. Was that this week too?
Oh yeah, it was just done just as we streamed last bit.
Dude, you're unstoppable.
I just like the whole... the 2 arms and everything just going straight in. And obviously he's taken out a Marine, but not just any Marine, an Ultramarine Deathwatch Marine, which makes it even better.
Yeah, so good. Right in the back.
Right in the back. He's like, I'm hunting me some Tyranids. And Tyranid's like, oh, are you?
So
Stab
good.
him in the back.
It's just attached by one little pin in the tail. It's just brilliant.
Hey man, pinning is powerful.
Yeah.
Pin all your shit. You can have all kinds of cool poses with things hanging off of pieces of terrain. And High Fleet Bargeist is here in the chat, so if anybody wants to share some love about how brilliant this artist is, you go right ahead.
And then I've got one more. Is it exactly this way? Because I remember we talked. I think you posed the question.
More amazing Bargeist flyers.
Yeah, about combat warriors instead. And this just not combat warriors, combat
Gargoyles?
Gargoyles, yeah.
Yep.
And this is the first bit. I love the fact he's combined so many of the different kits. So he's got the 3rd edition Gargoyle with the 4th edition wings. and I have no idea where those claws come from.
Those are my favorite source for scything talons right now. The Zoanthrope, the plastic Zoanthrope kit. Those little stupid
Yeah,
talons they
little
have
arms.
that I
Yeah.
have never thought of twice until Highfleet Bargeist made an amazing lictor with them. I was like, shit. Those, you know what, Simon, you were talking earlier about how those old epic pewter screamer killers had the perfect little claws to be used on
Yep.
mandibles and everything. I would say that the Zoanthrope kit, the like little atrophied scything talons that it comes with, those are the new perfect mandibles, claws, everything. I'm using them everywhere. On my lictors that I'm making, I'm using them like friggin' everywhere.
Cool. Yeah, I was wondering where those arms were coming from, and having those little arms is a bliss.
I also like
No.
what he's done to combat with the wings, because obviously with the third edition, the wings when they got put in made the socket to put the stem into, but it's just, as I said before, another like almighty pin into the base.
Highfleet Bargeist, okay, like I was talking to someone this week. This is something I want to pursue on a later episode or something. Just the idea of like, if you could go to Games Workshop and you could take someone from Instagram and you could give them a job at Games Workshop, and their job was only to design a certain line, like a certain Xenos line or whatever, I would give the Tyranid line to Highfleet Bargeist, because like
Yes.
the amount of crazy weird biomorphs and concepts that Bargeist churns out is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like, people joke that I should be designing Tyranids. I would design one Tyranid every 6 months. Bargeist would design 10 new Tyranids in the same amount of time, if not more. So impressive. And especially flying Tyranids. I feel a lot of love for flying Tyranids from Bargeist, and that's a Tyranid type that I'm not really that crazy about. So it's a Tyranid type that needs that love. So good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I absolutely agree. I would be on that. I'm riding that fanboy bus as well. Like
Get
a big
on the
fat
bus.
pony.
What?
Like a big fat pony. I
Like
think it.
Fran? Like Fran the desert cockroach?
Yes. I was thinking more of the fat pony that my son rode the other day, but yes, however it is looking, I'm always amazed by people who can turn like the most boring things, for example, the antenna from the Morlock kit into something useful,
Yeah.
and then turn it into legs. That's straight up brilliant.
Yeah. Anyway, great job, Highfleet Bargeist.
Yes.
Glad you're here to hear us gush all of you. Also, someone in the chat, Tig Trasa, says, woo, thank you for the feature. So I'm not sure which feature that was. So if you're still here, Tig Trasa, let us know your handle on Instagram. Also, yeah, like Tom Wilson notes, the Highfleet Bargeist's amazing knowledge of the fluff. So another reason that Bargeist should be in charge of the Tyranid line. I would happily work for Bargeist, like, as Bargeist is like lead on the Tyranid studio design team. I can be like the big chonky guy in the background. I'm like, hey, you want me to make something big and chonky? And he could just throw me the leavings from his table and be like, yeah, go design something big and chonky. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get right on it.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, there, lukewarm reception. Lukewarm reception's here.
Ah.
Awesome, good to have you. That was the crawling bionic gene stealer, right? Yes, amazing work. There you go, Hydra. You can compliment lukewarm reception in person.
I did.
Good.
Amazing work.
Good job.
All right,
Amazing work.
next up, it's Box.
Box.
Good Box.
Bits of Box. Bits of Box.
course.
Who is here in the chat, I believe. Bits of Box doing the thing that he and Hydra do so, and now Bargeist does so well. Taking bits used for one thing and flipping them around and using them for something else. So
Oh, these are so cool. I
Fox,
just
are these
freaking love them.
warriors or are they like what's? I guess they must be warriors because they've got death spitters. But I again I can't read; it's too small on my screen. But Skitter, there he is.
These are just too cool.
It's just the spider bit from the forest goblin spiders. That's the main body.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And I thought it was this. Well, I'm not sure how it compares, but Tom, the next time you have extra cash, you could try getting one of those Wargame Atlantic kits for spiders, because they have individual legs,
Nice.
and I think it's rather tiresome to cut those legs apart because you sort of have to always sculpt half of the leg yourself. And I think this Wargame Atlantic Spider Kit they have individual legs.
Nice.
And what I love about that kit, I don't own it in person, but it is, you can see it, that they have like two versions to build those kits.
Yeah.
There's a sci-fi version. Of course, there's the regular giant spider version, and then there's a sci-fi version where you can replace like one of the regular spider arms with a sci-fi
chainsaw?
gun arm.
Amazing.
So you can have like sci-fi spiders running around shooting with with guns.
So Bits of Box has confirmed in the chat that these are indeed warriors.
Nice.
Good solution. Also, like I've long dreamed of having an army of warriors, and I feel like if I was trying to do an army of warriors, I'd much prefer to do them like this, where they look more drone-like, rather than using the standard warriors.
Yeah.
Like the standard warriors are good, but if I want to do a whole like squad of like 10 of them that are just really cheap and have scything talons and death spitters, I'd rather go this route.
Yeah. This bash is just awesome.
Damn right.
And
Great job.
it's also so simple, because I think aside from the death spitter, and I don't know what he used for the head, it's just the spider turned in an awkward way.
Oh, that's the
Correct me if
spider's
I'm wrong.
butt. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm so slow. I'm so slow. I only just realized that. Damn. All right.
There's even one of the spiders that actually has a skull face on the back of it.
Yeah.
Which would, I don't know if you use that one, would just be brilliant, I think.
This reminds me of the time I worked for Games Workshop. I used to work in the basement. I know this sounds like an old Rick Priestley basement story, but
Sorry, are you in Rick Priestley's basement or?
yeah. I was in the basement of the former German HQ of Games Workshop, and I worked there as we need a demo table, build me that, or prime 100,000 Space Marines for the fair or whatever. Basement monkey, and
basement monkey. I like that.
Yeah, they always rattled at the cage when they needed something. Literally, there was a door.
Were you a banana?
There was a cage door, and they really rattled at that. Well, anyway, so what we did down there was basically having a massive bits box at our disposal, and like from leftovers and whatnot, and former projects, and we had like this, I don't know, 50 of those spiders from that Skull Pass kit.
Yeah.
And one day, I don't know, we were probably high on fumes from priming Space Marines.
In the basement with no ventilation.
Yes. And we had the brilliant idea to like cover one of those spiders in glue, then coat it with static grass.
Yeah.
And then give it a spray with black primer and gloss varnish.
Yeah.
And it looked like a real spider, and that was really creepy. And we were sort of creeped out by that, and decided to like make 10 more.
Yeah.
and then glue them into barely visible places. And after a while, this whole basement looked like infested by by real big black spiders. Like in
Amazing.
Australian, hello 3R4H. Hello, he says hello from Australia.
You've got
Yes,
a
you
lot.
probably would not be scared, but
Isn't
we
Brett from Australia and also storyboard guys from Australia? No, wait. Is storyboard guy from Australia?
yes, he is.
Okay.
So they
There was
would
someone-
probably not be scared, but
No,
yeah,
They'd be like,
we,
you call that a spider?
Yeah.
That's no spider. This is a spider.
we sort of scared ourselves. Sorry for that weird story, but
This
It
is
was,
what the podcast is. It's all about weird stories.
that's right.
Oh, apparently Peter Hampson wants to know how you lost your job at Games Workshop. Shall we tell them about how you scared your manager with your black spiders?
Well, you say that rats leave the sinking ship before it's done.
As someone who may be on a sinking ship right now, I don't appreciate that.
No, well, I left the company to become a teacher because I was just part-timer at Games Workshop, and I was I was going to work at a real job and earn real money.
Real money, honey.
Yep. And stop being paid nothing and plastic miniatures.
Paid in plastic crack.
Yeah.
Cool. Flynn, you got anything else for us from
I've got
Nidvember?
one more. The last one is.
Ooh,
for-
yeah, from Peter Hampson himself, son of Ham, the little piglet. Okay, I shouldn't be doing that. Sorry, buddy. Kind of took that one too far. Good thing Peter Hampson's here. Yes, so this is the Swarm Scent Guardian. I can't remember what we call it. What is it called?
I
Flynn?
don't even.
It says in the
the-
description. That
Also known
description
as the
says.
cluster spine beast.
There was something else.
Oh,
Swarm
no.
Sentinel or Swarm Guardian or Swarm
Hive custodian.
Warden? Oh, Custodian. There we are.
Also the cluster spine beast they should probably build.
You should build?
No, that's what it says in the description as well.
Ah. Yes, I love this thing. Have you seen this Hydra?
Get better view.
Sorry,
When
sorry.
Go ahead.
need- yeah, I saw that, and I have not fully understood what it is, but I just need to. I'll be back in a sec.
Sure. Well, maybe Peter Hampson can let us know what it is. And Hydra can find out when he watches the record. Maybe we should wait until Hydra comes back.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing, when I first saw it, I know this isn't, I don't think this is the intent. But I honestly was thinking like anime missile swarm. Like this Tyranid just exploded with like spine banks or whatever. And this is the after effect, which worked for me. But I know they're supposed to be
Yeah.
like big spears, I think.
No.
Maybe Peter Hampson can regale us with a description of what we're looking at. Are they big spears? Is it a gun going off in...
The tongue, though, that's what I'm looking at. Did you take the bits of the side of the Haruspex mouth and put it in for the tongue instead? Because that actually really works for her, I think. Let me go sideways. There we go.
Okay, I'm back.
Nice. So Peter Hampson hasn't regaled us with what those things are yet.
Oh, no.
It's the Hive Custodian.
Yes. But the spears. So the Hive Custodian, I think it's like a big giant like Hive Guard. Not to be confused Tyrant Guard. Like you know how the Hive Guard's fluff is like, yeah, they defend the Hive. And we talked before about how that fluff is a little dicey. I think that's the fluff for this buddy. But maybe Peter Hampson can tell us more.
Maybe
Maybe.
he can. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows?
So it
That's
says,
a pretty good accent.
so the Hive Custodian is a big area defense monster that uses overdeveloped spine banks to skewer things with their porcupine-style quills.
There you go. Porcupine style quills. I'm gonna call them biospears. Or bone spears.
Ah, too bad.
What do you mean too bad?
Too bad. No, I'm thinking it out. Sorry.
Oh. Yes, I like this.
Okay.
This is really cool.
And that's the last one I've got.
Nice. Well,
What?
thanks for pulling those up and featuring.
Awesome.
Shall we-
Yeah.
Some sort of segue.
Oh, sure. Let's talk
yeah,
about
I'm-
stupid
I'm
bullshit Games Workshop did. Is that the segue
Right.
we're looking for?
Yeah.
What were you thinking,
Nah,
Hydra?
sounds good. Oh, look at look
Oh,
at
look
the
at
page.
this. It's a segue. Hey, hello, segue. Nice to see you. How you doing? Good? Good.
Just passing
Goodbye.
by. Just passing through. Yeah, so segue from Nidvember, our thing, to No Hate Vember, Games Workshop's thing. So this is actually, I'm glad Box is here because I didn't know that this thing went up until I saw it on Box's story. So thanks, Box, for letting me know that this was happening. Games Workshop posted a blog post. They shared it on Twitter. Flynn, do you know if they shared it on Facebook?
Not really. I didn't even. Well, yes, they have. They showed the link to the article through like the Age of Sigmar community one. I'm guessing they did it on the 40k community page as well.
Yeah. I'm not really into Facebook, so I didn't see
Yeah.
those, but I saw the one on Twitter because I went to look that up as soon as I saw this, and then I went to look on their Instagram page and did not see this because this is not posted on their Instagram page.
Yeah, who can be bothered with Instagram? No one's there.
Well, okay, so I don't really. How do we feel about this, Flynn, Hydra? How do you feel about this? So I guess I'll just hold on. Wait, I'll try and be a professional. So let's pretend that I'm a professional. Rewind. Games Workshop
Great.
put up a statement today. They posted it on their Twitter, on their Facebook. They did not post it on their Instagram. I don't know that it's on their Twitch or anything like that, but it's a link to a article on the Warhammer community site that is titled "The Imperium is driven by hate. Warhammer is not." Whoa, the Imperium is driven by hate, period. Warhammer is not, period. And then it goes on to like say these weird statements, not weird statements, but like kind of sweeping statements about the situation where there's like a big bold headline that says there are no goodies in the Warhammer 40k universe, period. And then not bolded beneath it, none, period. And then it says in bold, especially not the Imperium of Man, period. And then unbolded beneath it, numberless legions of soldiers, zealots bludgeoning their way across the galaxy, blah, 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 blah. Basically how all of this in the slavish servitude of living corpse of a god emperor whose commandments are at best only half-membered, twisted by time and the fallibility of humanity. Warhammer isn't just grimdark, it's the grimmest, darkest. But then it goes on to like, the Imperium of Man stands as a cautionary tale of what could happen should the very worst of humanity's lust for power and extreme unyielding xenophobia set in. Like so many aspects of Warhammer 40k, the Imperium of Man is satirical. And then they go to explain satire. Yeah, so it's weird because the statement like talks about how it's almost like it's feeding directly into those weirdos who show up on the internet and talk about how the Imperium
Yeah, I
of Man
think
is
it's deliberately done that way.
Yeah, but like
It's just to basically go to tell these people in the most simplest term way possible so they can understand this is a game. This is made up.
Okay,
This is
but
not real.
I push back against your statement of simplest way possible because to me this looks like the most convoluted way possible. This looks like someone's doing a book report on the Imperium of Man and then using that as proof for the angry neckbeards that the Imperium of Man is not a good thing. And okay, sure, but like I feel like there's an expression, I think it's from journalism, called burying the lead. And I think the Games Workshop has buried the lead here because they're like, let's talk about how the Imperium of Man is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And how we're satirizing like the worst parts of human nature. Then let's talk about what satire is.
Yeah.
And then like halfway down the page of this novel, can you scroll down a bit, Flynn?
we're
They
doing
say
this.
we've said it before, but a reminder about what we believe in. So, point, has anyone seen them say this before? Because they've said Warhammer for everyone, and they posted some stuff, but they have this like quoted paragraph here, which I'll read, that I've never seen before.
This is actually an excerpt from the Warhammer for Everyone post.
We believe in. Is it?
Yeah, I
Oh.
remember those wording of it.
Oh,
It's
okay. I didn't remember those words.
paraphrased, but they've gone like, we don't condone prejudice, hatred, or abuse in our company or in the Warhammer community.
Maybe it's the paraphrasing that's thrown me off.
Yeah.
Because I think I joy posted this to my page 1,000 years ago. But
Also, I think I know
go
why
ahead.
they don't post it Instagram, because when you actually put in a post itself, you can't link on
Yeah,
the
you
post.
can.
You can only link.
Amateurs can't link on the post, but pro stars like Games Workshop should know how to use link in bio.
No, as in link in bio, yeah, but I mean actually on the post themselves. So like on an individual post, you can't put a hyperlink into the actual post for it, because where they've done it and stuff, they've used it to link you back to the article.
Okay, that's not a really good reason, but sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. So okay, so what they say here is in quotations their values. We've said it before, but a reminder about what we believe in. We believe in and support a community united by shared values of mutual kindness and respect. Our fantasy settings are grim and dark, but that is not a reflection of who we are or how we feel the real world should be. We will never accept nor condone any form of prejudice, hatred, or abuse in our company or in the Warhammer hobby. If you come to a Games Workshop event or store and behave to the contrary, including wearing symbols of real-world hate groups, you will be asked to leave. We won't let you participate. We don't want your money. We don't want you in the Warhammer community. So, I feel like those two paragraphs are what this statement is about. And I feel like when we got the Warhammer for Everyone statement, they kind of came out with that in a much more like condensed version and kind of just like punch you in the face with what they were saying. And this feels like to me like the draft for the Warhammer for Everyone is for everyone statement, where there's all this like mumbo jumbo at the beginning about the Imperium of Man, and then finally they come to it and say like, hey, yeah, this is not cool.
Give me a second, because I just found the Warhammer for Everyone is they've actually.
I've got it right here. One of the greatest powers of our hobby is its ability to bring people together in common cause, to build bonds of friendship that cross divides. We believe in and support a community united by shared values of mutual kindness and respect. Our fantasy settings are grim and dark, but that is not a reflection of who we are. Yeah, this is it. You're right. It was lifted word for word from Warhammer for Everyone, so you're right. They had said it before.
But it's because it's not the full post from it.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. But what I do like about it is they've now put it into place of, if you're doing this, we will remove you. They've given basically event staff, store managers and stuff, the ability to basically go, no, get out. They've actually gone to them. It's not before, it's a bit like, ooh, yeah, how is it and stuff. But it's like, if you're not telling them to get out, you can do it.
Okay,
and also, if you
they've said
in
that,
one of those,
like they've said that, but they haven't. They also go further down this paragraph where they're like, oh, and tournament organizers, you shouldn't allow these things either. And like, if you need some help from Games Workshop and prize support, contact us. But they haven't, like, it's all words. They haven't put together any kind of like information kit or like strategies or like tools that you could actually use to like declare what the values of a tournament are, and then like a code of conduct for people, and if they don't meet the conduct, like certain consequences that will be taken. Like I get that this could be like a first step from them and they're working on all that stuff, but this very much to me sounds like Games Workshop being like, hey, we think this stuff is bad, and we want to tell you that we think this stuff is bad, and tournament organizers, you should also think this stuff is bad, and you should enforce that this stuff is bad, but we're not going to help you enforce that this stuff is bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like when Warhammer for Everyone first came out, it was like a knee-jerk reaction to what everything else that was going on. All other companies were doing it. If we don't do it, we look like we're not part of it. We're not supporting it.
I hoped it was more than that, actually, but they proved me wrong.
Yeah, the After Effects shown it. This is them actually it looks like we've taken the time from Warhammer for Everyone to actually come up with something a bit more substantial to it. But again, it's going to be time will tell if this actually works or not, because regardless of if they do it or not, you're still going to have people in their own little enclaves and just be still doing the stuff, still playing Warhammer and still being absolute douchebags.
Yeah, and they're going to be easy. It's easier for them to stay in those enclaves because so far this has been posted on Twitter, Facebook, the Warhammer community page, but nowhere else. So if you want to pretend that this doesn't exist and sit under your rock and put your fingers in your ears and go la 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 la, hate is great. Like you could do that because I don't know. I do some work in social media. If I have an important message, I post it on all of my organization's platforms. Like I'm not talking about Warhammer here. I'm talking about like a real world organization. Yeah. And this is the same thing that I felt the last time the Games Workshop came out with this, that they put it on Twitter, they put it on Facebook, and granted, maybe that's where they get the most hateful comments, but people in the wake of Warhammer for Everyone, they literally said, this has only been posted to Twitter and Facebook. Games Workshop hasn't put it anywhere else. This is not, they don't really mean this. It's not a real thing. They're not going to be sticking to it. So people use that as like evidence that they didn't have to worry about what Games Workshop was saying in this regard. So every time that they don't post it in those places, every time that they don't print it on a giant banner and hang it over Warhammer World, like what it's, to me, this is just another Warhammer for Everyone. When you said like they've made some progress, they've given some thought, they've come further, I just see this as like warming it over, like taking the leftovers out of the fridge, warming it over, sticking it up on the internet again, and being like, we're doing something. And it's like, cool, what are you doing? It's like, we're doing the same thing we were doing in June of 2020, 18 months ago. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Can you tell that I have like an axe to grind with this?
Oh yeah. That's why we're letting you grind it.
Yeah, and everyone knows it. Like people like, I posted this to my story today, and people were like, oh, I was going to send that to you. I know you're like, you care about this shit. Yeah, I do care about this shit. Not that anyone said it was shit. I'm not actually saying that, but
I'm just half expecting some YouTuber with a terrible accent.
Fuck that guy. Who cares? Let's not even talk about him. Honestly,
oh yeah,
he can go die in a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna do some stupid shit. I don't even know if he's still around. I don't even know if he still has a channel because I really don't give a fuck. But yeah, some morons on YouTube are going to talk about how they did a letter writing campaign and crashed the website. And yeah, you go right ahead with your little fantasy.
What I'm asking myself is, I can totally understand your perspective.
Yeah.
On that, but I would say no, I would not say. I think that since you have spent so much time and energy thinking about all those things, that is, I can understand that you are sort of, let's put it friendly, you're waiting and see what they make of it.
Yeah.
But I would be interested in the perspective on that thing from someone who is very recent to the community and just getting into all that.
Mm-hmm.
To see how they take it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if we are sort of the prime target of
as
Games
white
Workshop.
dudes of fairly decent privilege, I would say that we should be the target group for this.
Yeah, but to be honest, I'm all about models, and I like Games Workshop models, and I'm using them, and I used to work for them, but I am not getting any news whatsoever if it wasn't for someone posting stuff from them, because I'm not.
Okay. So like you're not a new customer that they're looking to attract. Is that what you mean?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're well. Let's put it that way. I am, since the internet is the place where advertisement is key.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why I'm not getting any advertisement.
Oh. Yeah, Games Workshop doesn't spend any money on advertising. Like $0.
So yeah. So that's but the I don't know, the algorithm would have figured out that I'm interested in Warhammer, and I never get like I've not once been hinted at Warhammer Official. So the Instagram channel.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so it hasn't like
So
you haven't gotten paid ads from them, but you also haven't gotten like content suggestions where you're supposed to go follow Warhammer Official.
Yeah. So I'm not sure
okay.
I'm not sure if I'm the main target anymore. Because I have family and not so much time anymore. So I would assume that I'm not the main target.
However, I
but
think that suggestions for the Instagram follower algorithm come from people you follow. So like if people you follow are following the profile, I think that's how they suggest it, but I don't know.
That's for that bit.
So what I would be interested how people take that are, I don't know, studying and 25 and white and male.
Do we have any studying 25-year-old white males in the chat? I don't know that we do.
Yeah, think again.
I think they're all old.
It's lockdown, I'm married and I have a job.
I think
no. I don't know any 25-year-old white.
I'm saying they might be talking to us in the chat, bud.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Chat's frozen on the stream, by the way.
Oh,
apparently.
bugger hump. Okay, hold on. Thanks for the warning. Okay, it looks like it just cycled. Whoa, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Peter Hampson. I'm a 25-year-old white male as it happens. Wait, but are you studying? Because Simon said you have to be studying.
Are you a student?
Are you a student? Why is it not?
And are you... I don't know. Would you regard yourself as the prime target of that company?
I'd say the prime target would be.
So this is the first perspective I would be interested how they sort of the main group which I'm counting myself not into of customers is regarding this topic, or how they react to this statement. And the other side I would be interested in is the side that has been affected negatively before. So does anyone who has been, I don't know, assaulted or called names or whatever at a Games Workshop before, do they now feel different about the whole thing? Does that change anything for them? Or are they, because I feel like, yeah, we can rant about it or we can, whatever, but I feel it's not meant for me.
I take it as being meant for all members of the Games Workshop community. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I get what you're both saying. It's like, it's for basically everyone should read this and know that's what the company stands for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for Unique, but with Simon, I know what you're saying is this is more of for certain members of our community who feel like they're ostracized for being who they are, whether it's if they fall in the LGBTQ spectrum, if they are like autistic or something else, what their race, their ethnicity, their religion, or whatever it is to more be like, no, you're a welcome member of the community. But also, I know what you're saying about the whole targeted ad stuff. Yeah, it's the sponsored posts won't be for the people who are already in the community. It'll be for people who are wanting to try and convert over. So other hobbyists from like D&D players or Frostgrave, Stargrave, people who do model trains, or just anyone who's sort of interested in like a sci-fi setting or a fantasy setting, just to try to get them in. That's where I think they get the targeting ads go to. But with the whole thing,
honestly just don't think there are targeting ads, but
yeah, the whole bit is like, overall, yeah, it's good that they're making another post again, but they need to follow through, regardless of anything. They need to follow through on what they're setting out here. And as what you said earlier, Nick, just reading the bottom bit again, it's a whole thing of, if you're doing an event, we'd love to help you with it. It's like a whole, well,
yeah, and then
your whole sentiment is that, and then you've got like the whole.
The other thing that really pissed me off at the very bottom of this post is they post this thing called the Warhammer Alliance. I'm like, holy shit, they're starting a Warhammer Alliance? They're going to be like openly allies for people who need allies be it
Oh, no, 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 no,
LGBT.
no.
Wait,
That's
wait,
not what it
wait,
is.
wait, Flynn, wait.
Oh.
So this is what I thought it was
Oh.
when I first saw it, because like you have gay straight alliances where people who are straight ally themselves with people who are gay, and they look out for each other, and they stand in solidarity. And you can have allies for people who are racialized and living with discrimination. You can be allies. So I was like, Warhammer Alliance, great, sounds fantastic. So then I went and read what it was. And it's basically, we're going to push our product on the youngest kids possible for free, and we're going to disguise it as creative support. It's basically like working with scouts and like school teachers to get Warhammer into the classroom, which is fucking insidious. Like, let me tell you, as a small child who was brought into Warhammer by my drug pusher friends, like, that is fucking insidious. That's like Nintendo being like, don't worry, teachers, we're going to bring the Wii and the Switch into your classroom, and it's going to be totally educational. Like, does anyone else feel weird about Games Workshop pushing miniatures to kids and treating it as educational?
They've been doing it for years.
Oh, I think this is a UK thing that never made it over here.
Yeah, it's like, because it's currently only UK only, but they've
Like,
been
they
doing
talk
it for years
about
with
spending billions. Do they say billions or millions? I think they say they spend millions of pounds. And I'm like, oh, great, on like moving forward these causes that we're talking about in this message. No, on pushing our product to little kids.
Yeah.
In school.
It's also because like, I don't know if you got like a Duke of Edinburgh award in the UK.
Okay.
Where you have to do like you do expedition where you do like hiking or canoeing or something else,
Yeah.
and then you've got 3 other bits where you've got to do like a volunteering, a sport, and a skill. Games Workshop has advertised itself as you can do Warhammer as your skill. So, and they have actually made a little pack for it.
Oh my.
So you can go like, oh yeah, get your starter kit, make the models, paint your models, play a game with the models over over like the course
Can
of time.
anyone do that? Can any like corporation be like, oh, we're doing a Duke of Edinburgh thing?
So there has to be there's actually certain things too. I don't know the ins and outs, but
Okay.
it has to fall into one of like the categories and stuff. So like hobbyist stuff, it does fall into it. Normally some people do like cooking or musical instrument as a skill.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it's just Warhammer's an easy one to do if you're already into the hobby, or it's like an easy way for schools to go. Just to make it easier, all of you guys, we're going to do this for it.
Don't leave your basement.
Oh
God!
From when you've got to go on the hike.
Do you guys watch Sex Ed or Sex Education on Netflix?
No.
There is a character in it named Warhammer Dan. Because it's set in the UK, and of course in the UK they know enough about Warhammer for it to be like a joke name for some nerdy kid. I don't know if it's Dan, but there's Warhammer someone. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. It's so good.
There was actually this weird TV show a couple of years back, and some puppets thing. I can't remember the name of it, but it was on national TV, and it was just like it was taking the mick out of like a jihadist going like, oh yeah, they'll get 40 virgins when they die. Oh wait, is he gone into the Games Workshop in the town then?
That's pretty good shit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have to admit I'm a bit torn regarding that, because on the one side I would love to have like a tabletop club, not a Games Workshop club, but a tabletop club in my school, so that the kids have something else than video games to talk about.
Yeah.
Because they, video games promote themselves, and oh Jesus, yeah, Mom and Egan just said I should tell you, we have that weird story about that there's a show that's called Bares für Rares, that translates into cash for rare things.
Okay.
And so what they do is they have that weird mustache guy there, and he's like the moderator, and then random people come up with things they found on their attic or wherever, have been standing around for ages, and now they want to get rid of it.
So it's Antiques Roadshow, but they might not be antiques. There's this show called The Antiques Roadshow in England and North America.
Or
Yeah,
pawnbrokers.
it's probably the same concept. So there's this dude who's sort of a professional, and they recently there someone showed up with a life-size Blood Angel Space Marine statue, and like he had no fucking clue what this thing was about, and bought it when he bought his car, and had it standing in his living room like for years, and finally decided to sell it. And it was hilarious and sad, really, really sad.
Shit.
And it was so sad that I didn't watch it till the end. So I'm not pretty sure what Mama Negan is referring to, but it, like the quotation marks expert, couldn't explain the whole thing properly, and
But the expert knew what it was?
He sort of did. Well, just partly, very partly, and mixed things up. So for anyone who knows what a Space Marine is, it was like, okay, that's why I switched it off, because after 2 minutes I was like, well, this is dumb. I can spend my time better. But like having some weird dudes trying to figure out what a Space Marine is without any basic knowledge of the whole thing.
You're like, they're boring. Move on.
Yes. But well, getting back, so I was talking to colleagues of mine about the idea of having a tabletop club at my school.
Yeah.
And that it's weird, because on the one side, lots of the younger colleagues are like, yeah, that's a great idea, and as we who have grown old or have been attracted to this hobby as young kids, can see its benefits, and we are now the grown-ups, and now we can nope, sorry, Mamaniga, it was a space, it was a Blood Angel, it was the very first Blood Angel. No, don't worry. So yeah, I talked back and forth. I'm not sure if I can pull this through. I would basically start with calling this whole thing "Let's Build Terrain" or Diorama Club, and then eventually turn it into, "Hey, we've built this diorama, and now we can play with it."
So you're gonna like Trojan horse Warhammer into your let's build a diorama club.
Stop. Get your drinks, because I would worm Stargrave and Frostgrave into that.
Oh my god, here we go. In Rick Priestley's basement?
Drink.
Wait, what do I always say?
I don't know, Flynn.
Flynn, what do I always say? What's my thing? Chat, what is the thing that I always mention? Marco mentions Rick Priestley's basement. Simon mentions Frostgrave and Stargrave. Flynn mentions his bloody jammy protonid all the time. Christ, that guy won't shut up about his protonid.
Did I tell you the time I got a protonid?
God damn it. But what do? Do I go like back in the day? Because I do say back in the day a lot. Do I apologize for technical difficulties? Is this a little too easy?
Mama Negan said
I would be interested.
By the way, while we've got the chance, I'm going to stop presenting now.
Oh, great. Okay. So Simon can come back?
Yeah. So my basic idea is just to finish this off, is to sell it to my other teachers.
Yes.
Because Frostgrave and Stargrave can be played cooperatively. So you can say we play this game together against the game itself, and we don't have to kill each other.
Yeah.
So that would be my devious plan to sell it.
Ah, it's like friendly kumbaya game.
Yes.
Yep.
We have to cooperate to get this whole thing done, and therefore, blah blah.
Educational noises.
Yes, therefore it's educational. Now leave me alone with my toy soldier.
Diana says that Mama Negan says that I mentioned my dog a lot. My thing is hatred of Marines. Diana says
Yeah,
I say
that's true,
German
yeah.
efficiency a lot. I feel like other people say German efficiency a lot.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it?
say a
I
lot.
feel like Flynn says that more than me.
But I think you hate Space Marines is sort of a catchphrase, yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Anytime I talk about hating Space Marines, drink.
Or it's Nivea tools.
Yo, I don't know if you saw my story today, but I learned something today.
What?
Someone, a very talented artist who hasn't posted that much, but I'm very interested to see where they go with their work because they're already doing great shit, messaged me and was asking if there's an alternative to Nivea because they suffer from, Christ, what is it? Blenophobia? Which is the irrational fear of slime. How fucking cool is that? Like, I mean, maybe not so cool if you're blenophobic, but damn, that, like, I didn't know there was a fear of slime.
There's a word for it.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Like, I've got a friend who's tryptophobic, which is like fear of like small dots clustered together, basically spider eyes. So I'm familiar with like that. And like when they came out with the new iPhone, it had like all these cameras clustered together and it started triggering people who had this phobia.
Really?
Yeah. But I didn't know about blenophobia. I didn't know about fear of slime. So we talked about maybe using some kind of oil. Hydra, do you have a suggestion for someone who's sculpting? Can't use Nivea, can't use Vaseline because they have an irrational fear of slime. What would you suggest as a lubrication for sculpting?
Oh Jesus. Yeah, well the problem with oil is that you have like you have to wash everything
Yeah.
because the benefit of Nivea is that is both. It is the emulsion.
Yep.
Well, I feel like isn't there some sort of jelly? No, that's probably slime as
That's
well,
slime.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suggested Vaseline and they were like, yeah, that's just as bad.
Then you would.
Soap? Like hard
Ma-
soap?
how about
Oh, interesting.
spray on silicone?
Oh.
I have not tried that, but I have heard that there's sort of a
Oh, come on.
silicone spray you can buy at the Wawa store.
With how much you worship Slanesh, you have definitely tried spray silicone.
Shh,
I
don't
like
mention it
Mama
on the
Negan's.
internet.
I like Mama Negan's suggestion of butter.
Oh, butter. Interesting. Cursed idea, butter.
A lot of people are saying spit.
Ew. Well, they said that they were using water, but it wasn't working for them.
What you could do is, I think, what I've seen,
Yeah.
what I've seen been done before was, or what I did as well, was I used a, I don't know where the tension comes from with this slimophobia, but what you could try is like work your way around by soaking a sponge, like having someone else soak a sponge in like Nivea,
Mm-hmm.
because then you just have to wipe your tool over
On the sponge.
over the sponge, and since you don't see like the thing, but
Oh, you don't have like a blob of it. That's a really good suggestion. You're so fucking smart. Look at you.
no, I'm
Yes.
not. I saw like Jesus, the sculptor from Freebooter's Fate, the German pirate game,
Okay.
like eons ago on the Spiel in Essen toy fair,
Yeah.
and he was sculpting there. And what he did, he used alcohol to lubricate his tools. And since if he had like a puddle of alcohol, it would disappear too quickly. So he had a little sponge soaked in alcohol.
I think you told
So
me about this. I don't know if you've done it on the stream before, but I remember hearing about this. That's a really good idea.
So the sponge would keep it. And I just thought that if a sponge is capable of keeping like the alcohol in place, and the sponge has a different texture and has a different appearance than cream,
Yeah.
maybe that would help. Maybe that would be workaround.
I'm a little surprised that alcohol doesn't just evaporate off the sponge, but
Well, it does, but it doesn't as quickly
interesting.
as it would from other areas.
Okay, cool.
Because
That is
I
a
use
really good
that-
suggestion. And I'm gonna take that back to the person.
I use that trick for when I'm sculpting with Fimo, because Fimo is reacts pretty well to alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we had this conversation.
Yeah, if it
Was
has
I
helped
finished?
someone, that would be awesome.
I can't remember if I was finished saber rattling about Games Workshop, but one of the things I don't know, I kind of wanted to talk about, but like, this might be boring, but this is definitely not miniature related. This is more like diversity, equity, inclusion related, which I give a shit about and which I do some work related to in my day job. But Flynn was mentioning before that like there was like the reactionary posts after the murder of George Floyd in June of George Floyd was murdered at the end of May in 2020, and then at the beginning of June there was those posts from like every brand out there about how they stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and people of color. And like that was a good first step, but then like the whole thing was like what did those organizations do after that? So the organization I worked for, we posted a message of solidarity around that time, and then we actually got to work on it. Like we have had, I think I outlined this in my story, but we have had 3 to 4 4-hour trainings relating to diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm a member of a volunteer kind of like task force thing that is looking at how we describe our work and do we use equitable language, and like are we representing diversity seeking groups or equity seeking, equity deserving groups. Are we representing them accurately? Like all this stuff, blah 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 blah. But what I'm trying to say is that the work doesn't stop with posting those statements. That Games Workshop posted a statement about this shit back in June of 2020, and I was really surprised. I was really excited. That's amazing. But my first thought was like, okay, but like what more are you going to do? And again, it was only posted on Twitter. It was only posted on Facebook. I don't think it was even posted on Warhammer community. So like good up to Games Workshop. They made one step forward. But it never went anywhere. And like after those posts moved off their feeds, you couldn't really see anything about Warhammer for everyone. So now like we've taken a little step forward in that now there's a blog post that you can link to and that will live on. But there's no indication that Games Workshop has done any of the work internally that needs to be done. Like they can say nice things like this into the wind all they want, but they need to also do extra work internally, like the work that my company's doing. And the work that my company's doing is slow and it should be going faster, but at least it's happening. So when I see this statement about hate has no place in Warhammer 40K, that's why I ask, like, well, what resources are you developing for tournament organizers when you tell them that they shouldn't allow people who hate into their, or who use hate symbols or whatever into their tournaments? Like, anyway, so yeah, I want to know what other work Games Workshop's doing.
Let's have some red shirts standing there in case someone with weird ideas shows up, and then you have some underpaid red shirts saying, "No, you cannot take part in this because you are a crazy dumbass."
Yeah, but like the
and
thing
then the
is,
crazy dumbass goes back to his friends and says, "Ooh."
As we've mentioned before, we're all white guys. The majority of the people in this hobby are white guys because white guys tend to have, disposable incomes when they're young and get into Warhammer and shit. And they have parents who don't get mad when they spend money on stupid shit like Warhammer. Like, we are white guys, and the majority of the people at Games Workshop in their studio, like in their shop, whatever, are white guys. So like, I'm not advocating that we need to like have like hiring quotas or any shit like that, but I'm advocating that Games Workshop needs to own that they have work to do because they have a very white, very male experience going on there, and they need to work to diversify that and challenge it and train people on like, because like racism, sure, everyone knows what racism is, but not everyone knows what a microaggression is. Like when someone shows up in your office and you look at them and they go, and you go, "Oh, where are you from?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Luton or Buckinghamshire or something like that, and then you go, no, but like, where are you really from? And like, what you're asking is like, what is your ethnic background? That's called a microaggression. That's a way of singling someone out because of their ethnicity, and it's not okay. And that's the kind of stuff you learn about in these trainings, and that's the kind of stuff that you have to learn to challenge. And Games Workshop's not going to figure that shit out on their own unless they actually like do the work. So I just want them to do the work internally, and I want them to do even more work externally to make this. I want to see the statement in White Dwarf. I want to see it hung up over the gaming hall at Warhammer World. Like, this would be progress for me. Sorry, I put my soapbox away. What do you guys think?
Or just going further than that, I'd say have a sticker in every single store on the door, like a big A4 size sticker.
Yeah.
So it's
Shit,
right there.
put a pride flag up there, man.
Because they've got their little rule. I remember they used to have before. Like, it was a rules in the store sort of thing.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I remember years ago, and sometimes when we had like hobby nights at the club, if someone would break the rules, they had to stand up and read the rules out.
Oh.
But that was a store I was in where it was actually like, yeah, this stuff was not tolerated.
Hydra, did you guys have
all.
this?
No.
I've never seen this.
I can tell you what we have. So
Yeah.
because you said about probably the right day to show, but I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me check.
It looks very dark right now.
Well, you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Now?
Pride flag in a window.
Yeah, pride flag on a building.
Yeah.
But you would never guess what kind of building that is.
Is it a police station?
Guess again. You might take a shot.
Kindergarten?
Nope.
Church.
Does Mom and Eden
Yes.
know? Oh, it's a church.
This is our Catholic church.
A Catholic church? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh shit, I should have said that. What do I do without idolatry? Okay, whatever.
To be honest, being what it is like in Catholicism, being gay is not a sin. The act of it is the sin. So
being attracted to men is not a sin. Acting on that attraction is a sin.
yeah,
Is this what we're
basically.
saying? I think that's all problematic, but sure, okay.
Yeah. In other parts of Christianity, the whole thing is a sin, but Catholics are a bit more like, as long as you're not doing anything you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, but like, fuck
no
that.
problem.
Like, oh, you can love all the
Oh.
people you want, just never act on it. Like,
Yeah,
are we all
That's the
priests?
thing. Yeah, that's the thing. It's
So-
just like you can say that bit's right, but then not doing that bit. But, yeah.
You can, of course, you can, I
Yeah,
have not showed you that, Nick, because I am well aware what you would say.
Huh?
And I have to admit that as much as I think that you are right on whatever you say, I
Let's
think
not-
you are, what?
Let's not say that. That's not a safe thing to say about me. I'm definitely not right on whatever I say.
Well, I find myself agreeing on a lot of things you say.
Sure.
I would say there's also a good thing in things like this happening.
Yeah.
It is a pride flag on a Catholic church, and it's not one church, it's every church I'm passing by on my way to work.
Good. Is that because of the Trans Awareness Week this week?
No,
I'm guessing?
I think so, but they have like a real struggle. They hung up that flag a good while ago, and it has been torn down
Oh no!
every once so often, and they hang it back up.
Good.
And it's there's a hashtag on that as well, because they're apparently running some sort of campaign.
Mhm.
So the church is paying real money for getting this flag up and hanging every once in a while, because every once in a while a dumbass walks by and tears it down.
Yeah. And it's outside. It's not inside the church.
No, it's outside. It's a very
Good.
public place where cars pass by.
Yeah.
Like lots of commuters. So what I'm trying to say is I think sometimes it is important to see that there's someone of course, as Hippocratic as it might be when you look closer to it, I think it's important that there are people like flagging those flags in places you would
Yeah.
not expect them,
True.
because I think like I was so surprised by that, and I was sort of yeah, like positive surprised and touched that something as old and stiff as the Catholic Church
Yeah.
is moving
Good.
in the right direction.
That's
And I
good.
think it's sometimes to uh, of course be made aware that just hanging up a flag or posting posting something is not going to change the world, but
It's a start.
it's a start, and in some way it is changing the world, because I have felt like detached from the church for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and this made me feel like, not being like back in the whole thing, but I think I can see positive development there.
Good. Good. Yeah, certainly. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't put up a pride flag unless you're ready to like do like intensive pride training, but I'm just saying that it's a good start, but you got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Like one of the
Yeah,
greatest
that's right.
things that I've ever learned in all of this is that you can never be post-racist. Like you will never be finished this work. You have to keep doing this work for the rest of your life, because we're imperfect and we're going to fuck up and we're going to like miss things, or new things are going to come up. Like trans issues were not a huge issue when I was growing up. We didn't talk about it, but now it is. And like, so you have to keep learning and keep like understanding
Evolving.
new things. Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
And
keep evolving.
but that honestly, I feel like that was my biggest revelation for like equity work and diversity work and like anti-racist work, is that I used to think that you could reach a point where you're not racist. Capital N, capital R, not racist. You're past it. You're living in a post-racist society. Everything's great. But that's just turning like a blind eye to like different things that are coming up. Like you have to keep checking yourself and making sure that you are doing good work and that you're not doing anything that's dumb. And like something that was a joke on a sitcom in like 2016 or something could now be inappropriate. So like that's why we have to keep working at it. I don't know. Is this making sense?
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's not to say that you're always shit. It's saying that you're always doing better. Like you're always working to do better.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at 3RR4H says sex before marriage is also sin. And the storyboard guy says never get married, problem solved.
I've seen that before.
I've never heard that. That's amazing. That's a really good joke.
There's a video of a guy who does that. There's like a preacher on a campus in America, and he just does a premarital sex is not a sin if you never get married. It's brilliant. It's like that's just find the loophole in life.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, so okay, so good thing that Games Workshop's posting something, but I when I was reflecting on this and I was reflecting on the work that like we've had to do at my organization, I feel like the world has moved on from just posting like statements like this. Like after the murder of George Floyd, everyone posted these statements, and then all the people who were protesting for Black Lives Matter were like, okay, that's cool, but like what are you actually doing about this work? And then all the corporations were like, oh shit, we actually have to do some stuff about this. So like they started doing like my wife moves in circles that could coincide with people who are hired to do equity, diversity, and inclusion training and stuff like that. And she has just seen job after job after job after job after job posted for like diversity officers or like people to like come in and do these trainings. She has friends who do these trainings. And like these are women of color who basically have to re-traumatize themselves telling white people about why racism is bad. And like this stuff is happening. People are doing this work. They're moving forward. So I want to know that Games Workshop is moving forward on this work, because if they think that they can post one thing 18 months ago and then come back and post this thing 18 months later, and they've not done anything internally to their shop to move forward, it's a problem. Like to say nothing of like the fact that they haven't put anything more out for the community to move this work forward. Like, they need to be doing work internally, and hey, like, tell us about that. I mean, Games Workshop never tells anyone anything about their internal politics, but it'd be great if they like broke down that wall this time and was like, yeah, we know this is a deal. Like, we've posted that thing on Warhammer community saying that hate has no place in Warhammer, and this is how we're doing better within our organization. Because, like, the other thing that came out when they posted Warhammer for Everyone was a black British wargamer coming forward and sharing his experience of basically a microaggression by Tony Cottrell, head of Forge World or whatever the fuck he is, directed at him directly. Like, said it directly to this guy. And when Warhammer for Everyone came out, this wargamer like contacted Games Workshop and said, hey, this is my experience. What are you doing about this? And he never heard back. Like, I checked in with him probably about 6 months ago and he hadn't heard back. So that indicates to me that you can post all the fun, shiny things you want on 2 of your many social media channels, but you need to be doing the work internally because you need it. Like, that's what we see from that experience, that you have staff internally who could really use this training to understand what's not cool.
Yeah. Amen.
Now I'll actually put my soapbox away. So yeah, that's not hobby, and this is supposed to be a hobby stream, but I don't really care, because when people say that they come to Warhammer to escape, I understand that. Like, I did some escaping this week playing video games, but the thing that I keep coming back to personally is that when it comes to stuff like diversity, inclusion, equity in the Warhammer community, the people who say that I come to this hobby to escape all that stuff are the people who never have to deal with it. They're white folks, they're privileged folks, they're probably male folks. They don't face this thing. They get to go into a Games Workshop and not have anyone ask them where they're from. But there are people who don't get to do that. There are people who, when they walk into Games Workshop, get a really weird treatment because they're female, or maybe because they're non-binary, or maybe because, like, they don't present the gender that people expect.
That's why I would be interested how people like who have been affected badly by stupid behavior feel now about this statement.
Yeah, that'd be good. But what I'm trying to say is that the fact that we get to turn this stuff off when we walk into a Games Workshop is a privilege. And I'm here for the people who don't get to turn that off. The people who get weird questions when they walk into a Games Workshop. Like, those are the people that I care about, not the people who want to escape real world problems in their hobby. That's cool. You do you, but that's why I'm bringing this up, because I think it's an important thing to talk about. And I think that we're the guys who need to be having these conversations, us white dudes.
Yeah.
Because,
and I think to take this thought just a step further,
sure,
what they referred to was in their article was that Warhammer 40k is to be taken satirically.
Yeah.
And you cannot have a satire without any real world thing.
Without a real world connection, you mean?
Yes. So I think this is the first. So this is maybe like a cheap escape they do there, but it's on the other side. It's a like for the very first time they announce how Warhammer is supposed to be written to be read.
Yeah, you're right, and that's the thing that a lot of like the old guard have been defending. They've been saying this to people. They've been like, Warhammer's a satire, right? Like, this is all a joke. And they're like, oh, whatever. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, I love Space Marines. But, so it's cool. You're right. That's a good point that I missed. That it's really cool that Games Workshop has officially clarified that 40K is satire.
And what I read in someone's story was that, I'm sorry, I cannot remember who it was. Yeah. Someone said that it would be cool if that satire would come back into the thing, because you cannot read it. Like when you look at old orcs, you can read what they were meant to be. And but nowadays
like Goths,
everything is so. Sorry.
Like
yeah,
Goth,
for example.
Like they're like
yeah. But yeah, nowadays everything is so dead serious that you cannot, see the smirking face behind the Space Marine design.
One of the things I love about this statement that I didn't mention earlier is that they talk about how grim dark 40k is. Because, oh shit, someone said drink. What did we do? Oh, I said I hated Space Marines. They're the worst. Okay,
yes.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I love that or I don't love, in their statement they're like, oh yeah, 40k is grim. It's the grimmest of grim. And I feel like that's what like stupid neckbeards say when they're like trying to defend like their racist version of 40k. They're like, it's grim dark. Man, I don't like any of these kid books that show my grimdark setting from a child's perspective. It's grimdark. So it's kind of funny that they're like, yeah, it's grimdark, but it's also satire, man. Flynn, I feel like we're missing some shit in the chat. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, have they never read any of the Black Library books? Because the Caiaphas Cain book, the books are just about taking the piss out of everything. He is basically like, I don't care about the system. I care about saving my own ass.
Hey,
Like,
listen. As someone who never reads any Black Library, I can defend the right of stupid neckbeards to not read Black Library. But that's a good observation.
It's like it's in a lot of like the author's work and stuff. They will just put in there, and that's where they do it. Also, the other bit I just wanted to add in was like when you're saying about people, you say, "Oh, I want to escape in the hobby." Yeah, everyone wants to use the hobby to escape, and if the people who want to use it to escape are not able to escape what they're trying to escape,
the whole thing doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's like, how can they enjoy their hobby where they want to use it to escape from pressures of life and everything else if the people who are in that place where they're going to are not accepting of them, of who they are?
That's a very good point, Flynn.
You can't just
be
go
able
like,
to escape.
Because I know it's a bit, but it will stem back to being it's that guy. Everyone's got that guy in their gaming club who they don't want to play against. You're going to have this group of people who don't want to go to your gaming club because they feel ostracized as soon as they walk in the door. That you don't want to have that.
Yeah.
And it's all about reputation. Like as I've said it before. Like one of the games workshops near me is like, even though I don't go up there very often. When I go up there, the store manager's welcoming, but that's his job. The other people in there are just like, you're not part of our normal group. I don't know how to react to you. I don't really like you.
Yeah, it's
so. Regardless, I'm not trying to say like, woe is me with this. I'm just like,
no.
If I'm able to experience that, I know that's no way near what everyone else.
Yeah, you're experiencing that, and like you don't have to deal with like your identity. They're not rejecting you because of your identity. Imagine like that, like magnified by like, oh, your identity strikes me as different, and I don't know.
Yeah. So it's just like for me, it's like,
yeah. I think it's so sad because all those nerds, and I count myself into that aspect, are rejected so often. So
yeah, like we're all nerds together. Like, let's just be together in our nerdiness, man. Like, why the fuck? Like, I get you've been rejected before, but like, it's not cool because you've been rejected. You want to reject other people. That's how I feel about this shit. When people try to exclude people from Warhammer, it's like, fuck you. You've spent your life getting rejected for your nerdy hobby, and now you want to have a power play over someone else. So you want your nerdy hobby to be yours and yours alone, and now you're going to try and reject someone else from your nerdy hobby just to like take out your frustration of being rejected. Like, learn from your experiences. Because you've had experience with being rejected from this nerdy hobby, maybe you should be welcoming of the next person who tries to join this nerdy hobby. Rather than trying to tell them that they're a woman and they couldn't possibly have painted their own miniature or understand the lore or whatever. Like, forget it, man. God, what was there was the really good expression for this, but I can't remember what it is. Oh, well, it's kind of, it's not exactly applicable, but someone was talking about like making sure that other people after you are able to succeed how you succeeded. And she used the expression like sending the elevator back down for the next person. Like you take an elevator to a floor and then when you get there, you got to send it back for the next person. Like Warhammer, I get that Warhammer is maybe the thing that accepted you and now you're worried about losing it, but like accept someone else.
See, I was so taken aback by this whole discussion because to me that is what what this whole thing has always been about, and what I used to advocate to this hobby to people who didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Because I always said that when I walk in, or I've worked in a games workshop, and whenever you enter that store, and if you wish to, you stop being whatever you've been before, and now you are what you want to be there by then. So we had like people from all different, well, I wasn't aware about, or so aware about ethnics and whatever at that time, but
Hmm.
we had like people working high in a bank, down to the, I don't know, the lowest income group. And it didn't really matter. Of course, you are totally right when you say that there's like, you have to pay for this shit, and it doesn't pay itself.
Yeah.
But we had people hanging out. Maybe they bought like a box of model once a month from their salary at the start of the month, and then they would hang out in the store for the rest of the month. Yeah, and they would play with people who, I don't know, would earn like try the triple of what they. Oh, well, I think I'm stumbling and I'm stuttering, but I think you know where I'm
I
going.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my Games Workshop experience. That it did not matter who you were,
Yeah, and there are
and where you
people
came from.
who
Uh,
have those positive experiences and defend like the status quo online by saying I'm not saying you're saying this, Hydra, to be clear.
yeah,
But there are people online who have said this has never happened in front of me. I don't believe that it's actually a problem.
no,
And as people who probably don't live with the identities that might like trigger this kind of stuff, of course you're not going to experience this problem, but that's yeah, so you're very lucky that you worked and you were at a games workshop that was very accepting. And if you are at a games workshop that has people from very different backgrounds and all that, and they are accepted, you are lucky. You are so lucky. And what you need to do is that if that ever shifts, if that ever changes, you need to fight tooth and nail for it. You got to defend it. And if some weird dude rolls up your games workshop and he starts making fun of someone because they look different, they act different, they choose different, you gotta like call that dude out. Like that's how we preserve positive communities. But
well, I feel
they
like
also the negatives also exist. Go ahead.
I'm just stumbling over that you should assume that you are lucky if you have that climate. I would
Yeah.
turn it around. I would say this climate is for granted.
Ah, yes,
Uh,
you take it for granted.
yeah, you should expect that when you go into a store that everyone is welcoming you, because that would have we have been told or trained as professional sellers
Yeah.
that you should never judge a book from its cover,
Yeah.
because of course you are interested in the wallet, but if you don't get to the person, you don't get to the wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have worked in 5 different stores,
Oh, I didn't
and
realize that.
I would
Wow.
say that this climate has been in each and every one of them.
Positive climate?
Yes,
Good.
this welcoming, open-minded.
Maybe Germany's just better at it. Like maybe these
I
issues
don't
come up in the UK. Maybe they're like a big American
know.
issue. I'm not.
Maybe this is something that has changed in the past years. Maybe, well, when I was there, when I was at Games Workshop, like being a nerd has been like has turned into something cool
Yeah.
in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And
nerds, Mom and Egan, nerds like you these days, you don't know how easy you got it, man.
what?
No, like I'm just saying that us old nerds, we had to fight for it. But like Mom and Egan gets to roll up in this cool nerd land where everything's awesome. I'm sure there are other things that are annoying, but here are the old fogies being like, it was better back in my, it was worse back in my day. I had to walk uphill both ways to go to Games Workshop.
You get thanked for like basically the superhero films for making nerd culture.
Oh, I think Lord of the Rings. I would guess Lord of the Rings and
Nah.
Matrix.
No,
No.
I think it was Big Bang Theory.
Oh, really?
Mm,
Interesting. Well, we could
Yes.
argue this all day.
I think that with Lord of the Rings and The Matrix, we
Mom,
are going to argue this.
Mama Negan says you got no idea. There's still school, and it was hell.
Yeah.
I do not. Okay, I joke with my wife sometimes when we don't have kids. Simon, earmuffs, cover your ears. We don't have kids, and our friends have kids, and our friends tell us about how their kids are bullied at school. And I honestly routinely tell Nora, I'm like, fucking children, man, just ground them all, make them all learn in cages, because like you put kids together in a school and it's just little humans who don't know what they're doing, trying to take advantage of each other and trying to get stuff up on each other, and just like the stupid garbage that kids get away with because they're kids. Oh my god, like bullying, like the stuff that happened to our friend's daughter is insidious. It is horrible. And like you've told me some stuff that you've experienced from your students, Hydra, and like school is hell.
Then they have shitty teachers.
Mama Negan says Simon will understand when I say I never liked football.
Yep.
That was the end of me having any chance of being liked.
Oh
hey, yeah, Nerd Town, man. I never enjoyed sports. I'm like, my friends are like, yeah, the Leafs. I'm like, local sports team.
Maybe I'm different because, well, probably I am. I openly advocate not being into football, and that is, I live in a city where
it's a big deal.
It's a really big deal. It's like part of the identity of the town I'm living in. And whenever I say, well, I don't care much for football, it's always like, ooh. But I think in the beginning I was very unsure if I could do that.
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing that I'm giving an anchor to students who like feel different than the normal way.
You're an example. And that's go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to brag about it, but I have been recently approached by someone who's like unsure of its own identity, of their own identity.
Yeah.
And I was approached and was like told that I was the favorite teacher.
Good. That's like, awesome, buddy.
Where did that come from? Like, what did I do? And because I never thought about what I'm doing, I just did what I did.
Good.
And like now I'm starting to understand that me, like, not well, speaking up to like I combine different aspects. Like I've been to the army, and like some boys look up to me and are like, well, you have been to the army, you must be a tough guy then, blah blah blah.
And you're like, no, I'm the biggest softie.
Yeah. And that I think sometimes that combines that sort of gives an anchor, well, to that one person. She or he, we are unsure. Well, he's unsure. They are unsure.
They are unsure.
They are unsure about that. Yeah. It is just slowly dawning to me why like they feel safe around me.
Yeah. That's great. That's a huge compliment, man. Good work.
Yeah.
You're doing something right. And like I think that could be very applicable to this conversation we're having about inclusivity in Warhammer, that you never know who's looking up to you. And if you're older, there could be younger people around, and you got to model like how they're supposed to act. So that's why I do the shit I do. Like that's why I post stuff, I call shit out. Like I try to show people that you can do cool shit in the hobby, and you can also have a soul and care about other humans. And like care about these issues that you don't like. I don't live with these issues. But that doesn't matter, because I want people who do live with these issues to feel comfortable and safe and stuff. Like I want to live this Warhammer for everyone thing. So that's why I do this shit. That's why I talk about it.
And I think this is a good point, because I have sometimes felt working at Games Workshop was more like being working as a social worker.
Oh.
Because I worked in a city where the average income was pretty low.
Yeah.
And so we had all those kids hanging out in the store after school with and they were not bringing any money, but they were hanging out there anyways. And they were talking to us, and of course you cannot talk all day long about Warhammer. Well, you can
Yeah.
try, but that gets
It
boring.
gets awkward.
And
You can only ask them, "What are you not going to buy today?" so many times.
yeah, exactly. And I think my biggest achievement at working at Games Workshop was that this one dude at one point I realized he was really smart,
Yeah.
and he was there constantly. And at one point he was old enough to talk about his future,
Yeah.
and he said, "Well, I'm going to leave school next year."
Yeah.
Because then my father said I need to become a construction site worker. And I
Yeah.
said, well, dude, think about that. Think about this idea again, because you are so smart. You're young and smart and ambitious. And yeah, and in the end, he came back after a while. He disappeared then. And
Yeah.
after we had a few talks, and he came back at some point and said, well, I'm going for that higher education against the will of my parents. That's
Nice.
to say. Because you sort of have talked me into that, and that was where I thought, well, you can make on a very small scale a difference, even if you work part-time at Games Workshop,
There you
because
go.
you have contact to the little kids, and they trust you because they look up to you, because you can, play with their little toy soldiers with them.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, I feel like sometimes the Games Workshop employees where I am, they're a little uncomfortable talking about that kind of stuff. Well, just like our store manager will only talk about work. So that sucks. But I'm glad you were there doing that, because like you made an impact on people's lives. And this is what I'm trying to say, that like you don't have to work at Games Workshop. You don't have to be Simon. All of us have the capacity to make an impact on another hobbyist through just the bullshit you post on Instagram. It might not feel like it matters, but you have a chance to do something. So if you feel comfortable, speak up about these things. Share them in your feeds. Tell people that Warhammer is for everyone, and like it's safe, and you want everyone to be like in this hobby. And like you don't have to do it publicly on your feeds. Just like do it in person. Like you can just if you have a dude who makes a shitty joke about a woman, challenge him and be like, buddy, we've been friends for 20 years. That's not okay. Or we've been friends for 5 years. That makes me uncomfortable. Like, you wouldn't say that to your sister. You wouldn't say that to your mom. Like, just challenge this shit. Because, like, that's how it's going to change. It's going to be white dudes stepping up and doing something about it. Anyway, I fucking... I said I was going to put my soapbox away. I never did. It's now, like, 6:30 my time. And I'm in danger of getting in a lot of trouble with my wife. Because it's supposed to be done and inside. So I'm glad we had this conversation. Thank you.
Yep.
She's right here. Hi, I'm about to wrap. I literally just said I'm about to get in trouble with my wife, who's come to sick a dog on me to destroy me. So we're just winding down the stream. Guys, thanks for listening to my bullshit. I think this will be a good stream to be the first one that we convert into a podcast, because apparently we talked about a lot of stuff. So yeah, we're gonna try this out as a podcast as well. I'll maybe edit a bit of it out because it's very long. Maybe just kind of focus on our conversation on the whole like Warhammer for Everyone stuff. But I'm really glad that we had this talk today. Thank you for talking with me about it.
Or just go back and read Diana's post.
Diana said, as a woman, thank you for keeping the soapbox out. Oh, thanks, Diana. That means a lot. If you want more soapbox and you haven't seen it, I made a video called Sexy Warhammer Ladies on my channel. It was an interview. It's not what it sounds like. It was a situation that happened in the community where there was some shaming of women who were doing Warhammer and also having OnlyFans accounts. And I spoke to High Fleet Horror. I spoke to Norn Queen. And I spoke to, I can't remember Sarah's account name, a representative from No More Damsels, which is an organization that advocates for non-white male folks in hobby spaces and making like safe tournaments and stuff like that for other folks. So yeah, if you've never heard that episode, there's a video and there's also a podcast version of it. So just go to my channel. You're on my channel maybe already, and just search for Sexy Warhammer Ladies. And it should come up with the, it's a good name. It should come up with the video. I don't think anyone else's videos will come up if you search for it on YouTube. Only search for Sexy Warhammer Ladies on YouTube. Or like if you go to my channel, there should be a playlist for Xenos Alchemist, which is the podcast, and you should be able to find it in there.
I'm just thinking of like an ad pop up now saying "sexy Warhammer ladies in your area."
Oh no.
Stop myself from making that
Oh,
really bad
I
joke,
really like what
and that could
Johnny
be
said.
offensive.
Johnny said we have the privilege of being able to model better behavior. I really like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So thank you all for
I
being a
like
part of
the pun
this.
as well.
Sorry, what was that? Flynn?
I like the pun in it as well.
Yeah, it's good. It's real good.
I actually managed to model like half of a model.
Yo, look, I modeled this big fucking claw. What do you think?
What?
I modeled this
I
big
love
honking claw. It's supposed to have 5 digits, so it's going to have another claw in the palm, but I'm actually really happy with it because Roberto drew them like clenched up, and I think this is going to work.
Oh, it looks massive.
Yeah, that's what it's got to look.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got work done on models, and we got work done on social shit. That's awesome.
Indeed.
If you've enjoyed us, like the
Oh,
stream,
God.
share,
Flynn, you're the best. Please like and subscribe. Hit the little bell button, and you'll get a notification about new videos.
Yes.
And yeah, please like this video. Please subscribe. And we'll do it again next Friday.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, friends.
Thanks, everybody.
Adios to everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining. Oh, Colin's here, and we're leaving. There'll be a recording up. You can watch that, Colin. But yeah, thanks everyone who showed up. We weren't as on top of comments as I would have liked. But thank you all. I should just go back and read them after.
Yeah. There was
Alright.
a lot. We were just on a roll.
We were on a roll, and thank you for bearing with us while we were on a roll. And I hope everyone has a great weekend and a good night. Stay safe, healthy, happy, and happy Nidvember.
Happy Nidvember, everybody.
Happy Nidvember.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
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 Hold on, it's not done yet. There we go. Yeah.